not show your real name, details, picture, or switch on your camera. Depending on the number of presentations, as I said, or expressions of interest, we will assign time accordingly. This will happen. I will open the floor for questions and interventions, first of all to those that sent a presentation, and then to the rest of the floor. And of course, the presentations will be available in the same web page where you found the invitation and registered. A little bit of context. This topic doesn't come on its own, but it comes after a continuation of topics called for in the DEP, in the Digital World Program, since 2021. First of all, we had a preparatory action for a data space for smart communities that eventually developed the blueprint of what to do with this data space. Then we had a data space for smart communities, the deployment of this blueprint, and it was a very similar action to the one that we are discussing today. This was also a project that is currently running and is making calls for pilots to deploy the blueprint developed by the first preparatory action. Okay. The project is called DS4 SSCC-DEP, and I gather there are representatives in the audience of this project. Then we also funded a procurement for the development of what we call the Local Digital Twin Toolbox that is currently undergoing. And then lately, last year, we evaluated a number of projects for what we call the developing of the Cityverse, which is basically adding extended reality facilities to the local digital twins in cities and communities. Okay, this is basically what the call context is. The objectives of this call towards local local digital twins in the EU is, first of all, there are a number of local digital twins, cities and communities that have developed their local digital twins. We want to interconnect them. What do we mean by interconnect them? We want to make them compatible with each other. We want them to share data, to share tools, okay? As a second objective, we also want to promote the creation of new local digital twins, but based on common needs. So not that every city or community goes on its own, but they agree on what would be the basic principles on these local digital twins. And third and last, we would like also to add new advanced artificial intelligence-based tools to the local digital twin toolbox that we mentioned in the previous slide. What do we expect from this call topic? Of course, we expect an ecosystem of interoperable local digital twins sharing the common blueprint, hopefully developed or based on the blueprint of the data space. We want to increase the number of national infrastructures, urban data platforms, and local digital twins. We want new technical solutions to be added to the local digital twin toolbox. We want new AI-based solutions contributing also to this local digital twin toolbox. And we also want to increase and mature the artificial intelligence services in the public domain, mixing issues like predictive modeling and immersive services like what I mentioned before, leading to the concept of the Cityverse. Okay, these are the outcomes and the deliverables. What is expected from this call topic? What are the stakeholders that should be involved in this call topic? All kinds. Basically, this is mainly targeted to public stakeholders, to public, national, regional, and local administrations that should be mostly the recipients of this call, but it also includes, of course, technology developers and technology suppliers, research and academia, It's also the EDIC. We've developed lately an EDIC called Network Local Digital Twins Towards the Cityverse. So the EDIC may participate, although I will comment later what are the restrictions of the participation. And then any other relevant entities that could help to fulfill the objectives, either public or private. So it's pretty open in the type of stakeholders. What is really, really important is that the consortium beneficiaries that apply for this call topic, for this single project, cannot be recipients of the cascading funds. This project will basically, its main task will be to manage one or several calls that will assign these funds, these cascading funds, to pilots, to projects that will implement the technical objectives that we've mentioned and we will mention again later. Okay, so it is very important, for instance, that the members of the consortium cannot give money to themselves or cannot have strong conflicts of interest or clear conflicts of interest with who they give the money to. Of course, in the organization of the cascading funds call, the winners of the call will have to design an evaluation process and will have to rely the results of the evaluation on a number of experts, and these experts shouldn't at all have any conflicts of interest with the proposals that they're judging. Okay? The minimum consortium that could apply for this call is 3 independent beneficiaries from 3 different eligible countries. And the list of eligible countries you can find in the funders and tender, in the funding and tender portal, in the call text. There is a specific section dedicated to which are the eligible countries. I'm saying this because the number of associated countries to DEP depends and changes year by year. Okay, but you can find all the details there. As I said, we are looking for only one project for 20 million euros for a duration approximately of 42 months. The type of instrument that we are using this time is what we call grants for financial support to third parties, which is, as I said, a project that manages calls for cascading calls for at least 85% of these 20 million. It can be higher, but the minimum that we require is for them to dedicate 85% of the budget to these cascading grants. And another important observation is the Article 12.6 restrictions. What this article means is that entities that apply for this grant cannot be controlled by non-EU countries. And if they are, and this is what this article says, we will give them the possibility of presenting a guarantee that will be assessed and will be evaluated. All these details are again in the call text. This is particularly relevant for associated countries. If any associated country wants to apply, currently there is a process going on of evaluation of each associated state that is has joined DEP, the digital program, at national level of what would be the minimum set of requirements to accept the guarantees from individual members of each associated state. But you don't have to worry about this for now. A few considerations for this single project. 30% has to be devoted for objective 1. Remember, it was the networked local digital twins, 30% for objective 2, new local digital twins based on common needs, and 50% for objective 3, the new AI-based tools to be added to the local digital twin toolbox. Of course, you know that 30 plus 30 plus 15 doesn't add up to 100, but these are minimum conditions that the calls that this project calls for should satisfy. Another important consideration is the Cascading Fund consortia. The consortia that applies for the Cascading Fund will be funded at 50%. So they have to fund 50% of the cost, and this cost should be dedicated for the project. The maximum budget for each of the Cascading Fund consortia for the pilots is 1 million euros. And the maximum funding for each of the third parties that participates in the consortium is 500,000 euros. So you can see that you can have minimum 2 cities or communities from 2 different eligible countries. Okay, these are the boundary conditions for the pilots that should apply for the Cascading Funds. What are the timetables and the deadlines? Well, I hope you are very well aware that the deadline for submission is the 21st of November at 5 p.m. Brussels time. The evaluation, after we receive all the proposals with deadline of 21st of November, we will check the eligibility of the proposals and the conflicts of interest, and we'll prepare the evaluation that will take place with remote evaluators from December to January 2025. The information of the evaluation results should take place. This is hard to predict, but we estimate that it will be between March and April. And the tentative start of the projects, notwithstanding issues of Article 12.6 and approval of guarantees, should be September 2025. This is a list. Of course, these slides will be shared and will be put in the same link, same web page as you found the information to register. These are the main links where you can get information. Web page from the digital strategy, the Digital EU X account, the LinkedIn account, and also the Living in EU web events page. These are 2 important links. These are the links to the call topic in the Funding and Tenders portal. But if you Google for EU Funding and Tenders portal and you look for towards network local digital twins, you will find it. And most importantly, for those of you interested in applying for this single project that will manage the Cascading Funds, you have to read and study carefully the call document that you will find in that link or in the Funding and Tenders portal information. Here is where you can find all the technical description of what we expect in more detail, all the restrictions for the consortia, all the details regarding guarantees and things like that. I will venture, first of all, I said that I would do this after the meeting, but I would like to wrap up before I open the floor for people wanting to present or having general questions, with a number of general messages. Very important to remember. We expect to fund only one action. So you have to organize yourselves, talk to one another, whatever you want, network, form alliances, but bear in mind that we expect only one project. This is, of course, an action that will call for pilots, not a call for pilots itself. Okay, the project that wins will do the calls for the pilots, and will advertise it also in the funding and tenders portal. And you will find the information there a few months after September 2025. The action that wins this call will make one or several open calls for pilots. I mentioned before the one for the deployment of the blueprint. For instance, that one has done 3 different calls split in 3 months, one from each other. The closing of the call is again the 21st of November. Please do not wait to submit until the last minute, because this is an electronic registration system and it's got its bugs. Of course, I wouldn't advise you to register in the last 5 minutes, or to send a proposal first the day before or 2 days before, at least if it's not in its final form, and try to update it closer to the deadline. And that allows us also to track the number of proposals that we will receive and prepare for evaluation in a much better way. Of course, a good overall understanding of the call topic that I mentioned where to find it and its context is needed. There are basically issues like the openness and interoperability of the tools and the results that this call for pilots will generate that are expected. Okay? Read the call text carefully. And also be careful with the conflicts of interest. This is the final message from the consortium. Make cascading calls open and transparent with the right experts. And be very, very careful, as I said, with these conflicts of interest. You know the story about Caesar's wife, what they say about Caesar's wife, that she didn't have to be decent, but most importantly, she had to look like if she were decent. Okay, so be extremely careful when you present a consortium for this project that doesn't have any conflict of interest with any of the recipients of the cascading grants. Thank you. Thank you. And now we will open the floor for general questions. So please, if there are not too many in the chat, we can try to answer them one by one, or if not, you can raise your hand. Can you read the question for me?
The first one question is a question regarding this. If a company is part of the winner consortium, a linked party established in another country could not be a beneficiary of the cascading funds afterwards, right?
Exactly. Yeah. This you have to define very clearly. As I said, you have to define how you will do your call for pilots, and then you have to establish open and transparent rules for these conflicts of interest. But as I said, any conflict of interest should be judged by you, okay, by the ones that prepare the call for cascading funds. But yes, this is what I would consider a conflict of interest.
And we have another question. Is there a minimum number of expected local digital twin projects funded via FSTP scheme?
No, but you can guess easily that if you devote 85% of the 20 million, that is roughly, I believe, 17.5 million, and each of the pilots was supposed to be 1 million. So you can guess that easily it would be between 15 and 20 pilots.
We have one question also in the section Q&A. This was that was from chat, and this is from Q&A session. Where can we find the material showed in this session?
In which session? As I said, everything will be put either in the funding and tenders portal or in the web page where you found the details where to register.
I think.
Any more questions? Does anybody want to speak? Is everything clear? Don't be shy. If that is the case, we can have some more questions later. We will open the floor for people that wants to present an idea for this project or to offer their services, to say, here we are, we would be interested in associating with this kind of partners, our expertise is this and that one, etc., etc., etc. As I said, I would very much ask you to restrain from presenting ideas for pilots, ideas for Cascade Fund recipients, because as I said, this is not a project that will present the Cascade Funds projects. It will call for the Cascading Funds projects. You will have to present your ideas, your specific technical ideas to the, if there are any, I suppose that they will have some info days, to the info days that this project will organize when the time comes. So is there anybody that wants to present or to introduce themselves? Don't be shy, otherwise this is going to go very quickly.
There is also a question, will this be the last info session?
Yes, we were not thinking of doing another one. But if you have any questions, all the information is in the funding and tenders portal and in the call text. And we will put this recording and the slides, as I said, in the web page where you found the information to register.
Another question, are we going to have the list of meetings participants?
Yes, when we asked you to register, we asked if your details, email details, could be shared with the rest of the participants. Some of you said yes, some of you said no. So we will share the details of all of you that said that you would not mind. Of course, we won't give the details of the ones that said yes, we don't mind, to those ones that say yes, we do mind. Okay?
We have a raised hand from Harm Jan Arendt Shorts.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you speak up, please?
I can, and I hope you can hear me.
Can you use your video so we can see you if possible?
Just one moment.
Yeah. We cannot see you, Harm.
I put on my camera.
Okay, that's fine. Hello.
Hello, and nice to see you all. Happy Monday. My name is Harm Arendsost. I'm from iLabs Technologies, my company, and I have been working on a different project proposal, 3DXverse, that has been awarded as the first local digital twin project for the pilots. It's specifically tied to sustainable living and also sustainable travel. But we are focusing on the interoperability, security, privacy, and conformity assessment with testbed, leveraging the European Commission Digit interoperability testbed. And that has been, the coordinator is Ertigo. There are a couple of partners from Netherlands and Belgium, Germany, etc. And we see in this call also a nice continuation of our work and also synergy. So what we try to talk about and also open to explore with all the participants in this call is if there's a collaboration possible, leveraging the 3DExperts organization and capabilities.
Yeah, thank you. But I gather that you mean that you will be applying for a pilot of the cascading funds.
No, this is for the this is for the leveraging
for the project,
the experience and the 3DExperts Consortium partners also for this specific goal.
Okay, okay, very good, very good. So if you have a concrete or the concrete intention to apply, I would suggest that you start the submission through the system, and then we can keep track of your submission, please.
Yes, so
thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. By the way, this week we have a conference in Dubai. I will be speaking there with Eusebio from Ertigo, the coordinator of the 3DExperts project. So if people are interested, they will be able to see. It's tomorrow, Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
We have a couple of questions
Yeah.
in the chat. You mentioned that you will come back to the participation of the LDT city versus EDIC to the call. Could you explain further how the EDIC can participate the call?
Yes, the EDIC, when it becomes a legal entity, and this will happen in the foreseeable future, I am not sure if there is anyone from the EDIC in the audience representing the EDIC, they can intervene later. If the EDIC becomes a legal entity before the end of the call, of course, they can apply as a legal entity. But the important consideration is that the EDIC applies, then any city that is in the EDIC, represented in the EDIC legal entity, cannot be recipient of the cascaded funds. Likewise, if there is a member of the EDIC that participates in the consortium, they will have to be very careful with the issue of the conflicts of interest, not to look like or not to be considered like they are giving money to the cities with which they already have a legal contract or they are involved in the same kind of legal entity. So you have to manage this process very, very carefully. Is there anyone from the EDIC in the audience that would like to say something? No?
We can have another.
Here, I don't know if maybe Jordi is in or Ernesto is in the call, but just what I fully agree with what you said. That this is very, very clear, the statement about the conflict of interest. And by the way, I represent Luxembourg in the EDIC. I don't know if there are some other members participating here, but if there is any specific question, then I also invite the person who asked the question online to contact the different EDIC representative for the country, or the chair, Ernesto Fogel, or the co-chair, Jordi Ortuño from Barcelona.
Yeah. Good. As I said, this is an open call, so the EDIC and anyone that is not the EDIC has got the same rights to apply for this call. It's not a call directed to the EDIC. It's an open call. I insist on that. Any more questions, Svet?
Yes, we have a question. A local administration interested in having a local digital twin should apply only later after September 2025
Yes.
as a pilot?
You understand correctly. Okay, I suppose that I expect that the project that wins this call will of course have one or several calls for pilots, and then you should be able to participate through this open call for pilots, one or several. And they will do info days, and they will advertise this in the funding and tenders portal or in the public. Thank you.
And again, to repeat for the people that connected later, that the info will be published in the dedicated web page, including recordings, slides.
Yeah. Yes, we'll do that right after this meeting. We will ask our wonderful Despina to put up the slides and the recording and a link to the recording as soon as it is available so that you can watch this again. Okay? And if you have any further questions, of course, you know where we are.
There is another question. Is there any expected duration for the projects funded by the open calls?
Okay, the project duration is 42 months. So I'll try to answer both questions in the chat. So it depends. If you want to do overlapping calls, for instance, 3 calls, you can think that you can have calls for, I don't know, 3 years, spaced a few months with some degree of overlap, okay? For instance, in the pilots for the deployment of the blueprint of the data space, the length of the pilots was, I believe, 12 to 18 months, okay? But this can be slightly longer. Huh? Of course, you can always justify how long should be these pilots for, huh? And provide good argumentation.
And don't forget that the goal of the pilots is to test in the field, in a real life situation, the solutions you will be developing, especially to complement the local digital twin toolbox. So this is not purely a theoretical exercise. The pilots should be according to a proper testing and validation and final tweaking of the solutions. At the end of the day, the outcome of this call is to have solutions, reusable solutions that can be used by other cities. So please, when you create the proposal, keep this practical approach in mind. This is not a theoretical exercise that we pilot few things and then we forget about this. We want to have solid solutions, well tested in the field.
Yeah, but this is, of course, relates to the pilots, okay?
Raise hand by Herman.
Please, best thing that you can do is to read very carefully the call text, because the call text is very clear about what are the expectations and the expected outcomes of this project. Germán, you wanted to intervene also.
Yeah, not just a very few side comment. I really agree with this pragmatic version that Miguel was mentioning before, and we need to see also the talking from an ethic perspective. I mean, this is there are assets that have been created. There is contributions that need to be put very pragmatical to be sustainable at the end. And this includes use cases. This includes AI components for the toolbox. I mean, the 3 work strands, I think they define very well where your pilot would go with your city, with your partners, etc. So yeah, at the end, we intend to have a sum of practical assets that could be put forward by the ethics as a sustainability instrument. This is what we really would like. So if we are, yeah, we are all, I think, looking into that very, very carefully. But just to support the comment of Miguel.
Okay, thank you, Germán.
So the information for how many rounds of open calls to have is in the slides, and you said that it depends on the consortium. It could be 1 or several open calls. So
I suppose it makes sense to have several, but this is up to the to the people, to the consortium that presents the proposal. The proposal will be evaluated. So the evaluators will have to judge if it's better, if there are several competing proposals, good competing proposals, if it's better to have several rounds of open calls or just one. Okay, I suppose that it makes sense to have several because the project will learn from the mistakes that they will make in the first round, and there will be a chance to resubmit for those ones that did not make it and can learn from the mistakes that they did in the submission also after the feedback from the evaluators. Okay, but this is my private opinion, not binding.
And now we have the opportunity to emphasize the participation of private companies. So the question is, can private companies that are technological providers can be recipient of the FSTP funding being involved in the pilot?
Of course they can. But the minimum conditions for participation was 2 public entities, 2 local administrations from 2 different eligible countries. But of course, if a private technological provider is needed and is well argumented, why not?
Excuse me, I would like to ask a question to be sure to understand the project, how the project is working. I am currently working for a private engineering company in France, which is called Aegis, and we already have developed a digital twin on a natural asset, which is an estuary in France. And in this case, I have understood that this project is also the opportunity to leverage existing implementation in order to roll out and to repeat this existing experience in other countries and to make connection between cities and between countries. And in this case, I have to wait the call of pilots, and I have to hope that one of these pilots will be about natural assets in order to be able to leverage this existing experience. That's right?
Yes, or you can present your own proposal for a pilot and find 2 local administrations in 2 different eligible countries, and that's it, and present your own idea.
Okay.
What I wanted to make it very, very clear, I hope that this message has gone through, is that one thing is to present a proposal for this call that will be purely, mostly on the organization of the Cascading Funds call, and another one is present the technical pilot proposal, okay, that will be applying for the project that comes out of this call, okay?
So both are expected?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Well, this one is, this one I can tell you that the project will start, I hope, shortly after 1st of September 2025, if things go well. I cannot be so sure or so exact as when the first pilots will start, but I suppose they will start on average like 3 to 6 months after this call for pilots starts.
Okay. So for November, it's
after
a
the
good
winning project starts.
Okay, so for November, it's already a good time to present or introduce a pilot, if we want. Okay, makes sense. Okay, thank you for this clarification.
Thank you. Anyone else? As I said, we received 7 presentations, but these presentations were for pilots. Would anyone that sent this presentation through the system when registration took place would like to say something? if they're present, of course. We won't include your slides in the web page unless you tell us to. Huh? Is everything clear?
So we have
Another question.
no, we have just this information in the Q&A part. CNECT Digital is interested in participating as we are involved in several EU projects on digital twins and interoperability in other fields. I can briefly present our expertise.
Yes, please. If you want, please briefly present your expertise.
Yeah, my name is Göran Svalan from CNECT Digital, and well, we noted this call a bit late, but we are involved in several other projects on digital twins, especially in the ocean field of ocean, with the interoperable digital twins of the fjords in Norway, but also in projects like CDITO and the Iliad, which are EU projects on digital twins of the ocean. But we are also involved in digital twins of in the smart building industry. So building digital twins of smart buildings. We haven't really looked into the field of smart cities, but we are highly interested in building digital twins that are interoperable, and we believe in the procedure of building several digital twins that are hosted and then can talk to each other. So we could be interested in being a partner in this call, as we have expertise in both architectural ways of building the infrastructure for digital twins, but also on the data processing part of digital twin.
Okay, but I guess that you'd be also interested in participating in a pilot consortium, not in the consortium that will manage the cascading grants, right?
Yes, true.
Okay, thank you. This
Thanks.
is what I want to leave perfectly clear. Eh?
Yep.
Both kinds of interventions from you guys are fine, but you should say if you really are looking to present a proposal for this call or for the posterior open calls that will be organized by the winner of this call. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Mariel Campanella raised hand.
Mariel, we are all ears.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes, great. Thank you very much. So thank you for this meeting. My name is Marielle Campanella. I am from Pôle SCS in France, which is a cluster association. So we have the status of a non-for-profit association with members. We are specialists in the deep tech sector, so covering AI, IoT, cybersecurity, photonics, and so on. So applied to several fields, including smart cities. So we gather an ecosystem of approximately 300 members in the southern part of France, covering Région Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur and Occitania regions. We are used to be involved in several EU projects, including cascade funding. We have already ourselves managed some cascade funding calls in the domain of AI and IoT. So we have an interest in this call specifically. maybe not as a leader because the budget is quite important, but as a participant in order to support in the cascade funding management. We have also the capacity to mobilize technological providers, which our members or not members, and also to mobilize some local cities and communities, especially in France. So if there are in the audience any consortium which are set up and you are looking for such expertise and such geographical coverage, you can contact me. I will leave my email in the chat with the name of the organization, Paul SCS, that I represent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Don't be shy. Ask now. Or present yourselves.
Luca Latisca raised hand.
Luca.
Hello, everyone. Yeah,
Hi, Luca.
I take the floor because I would like also to say that I'm representing the trail in Belgium, which is Trusted AI Labs. And basically, we have our expertise in AI. We have five different universities in Belgium and different companies in our consortium. And we are highly interested in digital twins. And we would like to take part of one of the pilots code. So if you would like to contact us for this third, let's say, part of the call, we are here. And I will leave my email address too.
Thank you, Luca. It's very good that you say that you clearly say if you're interested in joining the consortium or presenting a proposal for this call, or if you would be later interested in applying for a pilot. Okay.
It's for afterwards.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else?
Florina Began.
Florina. They're slowly coming in. Tell us, Florina.
Sorry, I was unmuting. My name is Florina Began. I represent the Simavi. Simavi is a software company from Romania. We are very much interested in this call to participate both in the preparation or in the pilot, the cascade funding. We have lots of experience as a software integrator, platform developer, and also we have developed a digital twin and artificial intelligence as well. So we'd be glad to collaborate on this. I'll also leave my contact in the chat.
Okay, thank you very much.
So.
Anyone else? No? So we're going to do like an auction. I'm going to count to three. Oh, yeah. Right. There was another bid.
We have another raised hand by Singe Tokos Reotech.
Singe, let us know. Make yourself visible and let us know.
Hello. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
I'm Simge Toxos, and first of all, thank you for this wonderful introductory meeting. I represent Reotech from Turkey, and we have been developing artificial twin models for the last 15 years for the cultural heritage sites located here in Turkey, and we are also very much interested in participating in one of the pilots. So I will also leave our contact info and would be open to collaborations for the future.
Thank you. Of course, for those of you that are potential proposers for this call for the Cascading Fund project, bear all these contacts in mind because these are the first seeds of interested people that should be applying for your pilots. Okay. Thank you very much. So should I count to 3 again? Anyone else? Going? Going? Gone. Okay, so thank you very much for your attendance today. It's been a pleasure to listen to you. As I said, if you're interested in presenting a proposal, please do it before the 21st, well before the 21st of November, so we can track your proposals. And good luck. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.